Stretching 4,300 kilometers from tropic to ice, Chile is less a country than a fault line, an improbable ribbon stitched between the Andes and the Pacific. But beyond its postcard peaks and famous wine valleys lies another Chile. Deserts that still whisper at night, fjords that have never seen a dock, volcanoes that keep their own calendars, and salt flats so quiet you can hear the sky creak. This is the Chile that hides behind the curve of the earth, unmapped, untamed, and waiting in the margins. Chile's longitude is legendary. Its secrets are lateral. In the north, the Atacama guards forgotten petroglyphs and lagoons that glow lithium blue. In the center, coastal cliffs fall into coves where no road dares go. Far south, ice fields calve into fjords named only on nautical charts. And the ancient forests of ice and drink reign older than language. Along this spine run stories of the Mapuche, miners, mariners, and astronomers, each carving a life between earthquake and ocean swell. Our journey will skip the crowded overlooks and glide instead into salt caves, phantom towns, high-altitude geysers, lava-filled craters, and channels where the Southern Cross mirrors in black water. This is unseen Chile, a land that refuses to fit inside straight lines and rewards those who read between them. In the heart of the Atacama Desert, where nothing should grow and little should live, rises the world's highest active volcano, Ojos del Salado, standing at an astonishing 6,893 meters. This behemoth marks the border between Chile and Argentina and is not just a mountain, but a realm of extremes. Flaming sun, snow-dusted slopes, and winds that scream across ancient lava fields. Despite its altitude, it holds the highest lake on Earth, a freezing crater pool sitting near 6,400 meters, where water and fire meet in silence. Very few reach the summit. Those who do find no tourist signs, no gift shops, just rock, wind, and the deep, low hum of altitude. In the Andean cosmology, such places were once sacred. Gods walked here, and sacrifices were made to the sun. Today, Ojos del Salado remains almost untouched, a volcano still dreaming in the clouds, too high for vegetation, too remote for maps, and too raw to forget. High in the Altiplano of northern Chile, surrounded by white salt flats and sleeping volcanoes, lies Piedras Rojas, a surreal expanse of oxidized red rock, glowing against turquoise lagoons and skies so clear they seem carved from glass. The name means red rocks, but the hues shift with the sun, crimson in morning light, rust and amber at dusk. Pools of glacial meltwater reflect distant peaks like mirrors dropped on Mars. It's here, at over 4,000 meters, where you can watch flamingos feeding beside geyser steam and volcanic shadows. No crowds, no roads worth mentioning, just a narrow track, thin air, and the silence of a place shaped slowly, violently, and beautifully. Piedras Rojas isn't famous, but it doesn't need to be. It's the kind of wonder that whispers rather than shouts, and leaves a color in your mind that sunlight alone can't explain. At over 4,300 meters in the Andes near San Pedro de Atacama lies El Techo, one of the highest geyser fields in the world, with more than 80 active geysers hissing and steaming in the thin dawn air. The name means the grandfather, and standing in this volcanic field before sunrise, you understand why. Pillars of steam rise from the frozen ground, glowing golden as the sun climbs. The temperature difference is so extreme that ice forms beside boiling pools, creating a tension between elements rarely seen in nature. Llamas graze nearby, volcanoes loom in the background, and the only sounds are bubbling mud, bursting jets of water, and the crunch of frost underfoot. El Techo is ancient, unstable, and alive, an exposed nerve of the planet where geology and atmosphere meet in breath. Nested at over 4,200 meters above sea level, in the shadow of the Menex and Miscanti volcanoes, lies one of the most tranquil places in the Chilean Altiplano, Laguna Miscanti. A high-altitude lake so still it seems painted. Surrounded by volcanic slopes and pumice plains, the water here is a deep, unnatural blue. No boats, no swimmers, no roads down to the shore. Just flamingos, vicuñas, and the occasional Andean fox. It's part of the Los Flamencos National Reserve, but feels like its own planet. The indigenous Atacamino people have long held this place sacred. It's not just about the view, it's about balance, about how wind carves silence, how volcanoes feed color, and how water, rare as gold here, becomes something almost holy. Laguna Miscanti is not a place you see. It's a place you enter, quietly, like a chapel made of light and stone. Just outside San Pedro de Atacama, nestled within the Cordillera de la Sal, lies Valle de la Luna, the Valley of the Moon. It's not named for poetry. It's named because this place truly looks like another world. Here, the ground is layered in salt crystals and gypsum, cracked into mosaics by heat and time. Dunes rise like frozen waves, and stone ridges resemble the spines of buried giants. There is no vegetation, no rivers, often not even wind, just heat, stillness, and light so sharp it casts double shadows. At sunset, the landscape turns surreal, pink, gold, copper, violet. As the Andes catch fire in the west and the stars begin to awaken in what's considered the clearest night sky on Earth. Valle de la Luna isn't silent, it's beyond sound, a place where Earth speaks in texture, not voice. A place that feels abandoned by time and perfect for it. Midway along Chile's northern coast, between the Atacama and the sea, lies Pan de Azúcar National Park, a windswept, wave-scarred sanctuary where cactus-covered hills plunge into turquoise water and the desert breathes salt. The name means sugar loaf, inspired by the white peak rising above the ocean fog, but it's the contrast here that stuns. Penguins waddle through cactus groves, sea lions bask on black rocks, and sea mist nourishes life where rain never falls. Trails wind through fossil beds and archaeological sites. Offshore, Pan de Azúcar Island shelters Humboldt penguins, guano birds, and coastal foxes. Inland, the Comanchica, morning sea fog, rolls in like a second tide, feeding rare plants found nowhere else on Earth. This is not the Chile of brochures. It's harsher, older, and eerily alive. a desert clinging to the edge of ocean and thriving in defiance. Rising from the Atacama Desert like a spaceship buried in dust, Cerro Paranal is home to the Very Large Telescope, one of the most advanced astronomical observatories on the planet. At nearly 2,600 meters above sea level, surrounded by total dryness, no light pollution, and over 300 cloudless nights per year, Paranal offers the clearest view of the universe anywhere on Earth. Operated by the European Southern Observatory, the VLT consists of 4 massive telescopes that can function individually or as one, capturing galaxies, supernovas, and distant worlds with breathtaking precision. Nearby, the stark, alien-like Paranal Residencia, a base for scientists, was even featured in the James Bond film Quantum of Solace. Standing here, it's easy to forget you're still on Earth. The desert below is silent, the sky above is infinite, and the facility itself feels like a bridge between rock and void, designed to ask questions only the stars can answer. Just outside Santiago, tucked between snow-capped peaks and fault lines, lies Cajón del Maipo, a deep Andean canyon carved by the Maipo River, where volcanic heat and glacial water shape a hidden world of cliffs, tunnels, and alpine wonder. Winding roads lead past hot springs, waterfalls, and jagged cliffs to treasures like Embalse El Yeso, a turquoise reservoir cradled by snowy peaks. Nearby, fumaroles hiss from the flanks of San Jose volcano, and ancient trails vanish into hanging valleys known only to locals and mountaineers. Though close to the capital, Cajón del Maipo feels like another country. Untamed, echoing with bird calls, and dotted with forgotten tunnels and train tracks built to cross the Andes into Argentina. It's a place where the mountains aren't just scenery, they're walls holding time, and rivers run with memory. In the heart of the northern Atacama Desert lies Humberstone, a UNESCO-listed ghost town that was once a booming hub of the nitrate saltpeter mining industry, producing fertilizer that fed the world and profits that fueled entire nations. Founded in the 1870s, Humberstone thrived for decades before synthetic nitrates made it obsolete. By the 1960s, it was abandoned, leaving behind schoolhouses, theaters, homes, factories, and a massive processing plant, all slowly dissolving in the desert wind. Walking through the grid of cracked sidewalks and rusted playgrounds feels eerie and unreal. Paint peels in the dry heat, corrugated walls rattle in the breeze, and rust marks the edges of every memory. But it's not empty, it's still echoing. Humberstone isn't just a ruin, it's a reminder of boom, of collapse, and of what happens when a city is built on dust and burned too fast. In the heart of Araucania, where southern Chile begins to turn lush and volcanic, lies Conguillío National Park, a landscape that looks painted by contrast. Black lava flows, turquoise lakes, snow-capped peaks, and ancient forests of the Araucaria, or monkey puzzle tree, a living fossil. At the center towers Lema volcano, one of Chile's most active, its slopes dusted in ash and ice. Below, Lava fields from past eruptions cut through the forest like rivers of stone, surrounding the glittering Lago Conguillío, fed by glacial melt and volcanic runoff. The indigenous Mapuche people have long regarded this region as sacred, a place of fire, water, and renewal. And today it feels untouched. Trails wind through primeval woods, condors ride the thermals, and the silence is broken only by the distant rumble of the earth shifting below. Conguillío is more than a park. It's a meeting place of time, where the newest land on Earth grows beside some of its oldest trees. In the icy turquoise waters of Lake General Carrera, carved by wind, waves, and time, rise the Capillas de Mármol, the marble chapels, a series of surreal rock formations that look like floating sanctuaries sculpted by the gods. These natural wonders, La Capilla, La Catedral, and La Cueva, were formed over 6,000 years. As glacial water lapped against calcium carbonate cliffs, the result? Caves and pillars streaked with white, gray, and blue, glowing as sunlight reflects off the lake's glacial hue. Accessible only by small boat or kayak, the Capillas feel like entering another realm. Inside, sound softens, water glows beneath your hands, and the stone arches sway with illusion, as if breathing with the lake. This isn't just geology. It's architecture made by water, quiet as prayer, and just as humbling. South of Coyhaique, along the winding Carretera Austral, rises Cerro Castillo, Castle Mountain, a jagged spire of dark stone and glacial ice that seems sculpted for legend. Often compared to Torres del Paine but far less visited, Cerro Castillo is surrounded by turquoise lakes, glacial moraines, and hanging valleys that feel utterly wild. Its peaks cut the sky like blades, and from below, the whole range resembles a crumbling fortress, a silhouette of Patagonia's raw geometry. The hike to the base is steep and wind-battered, passing through lenga forests and fields of wildflowers. At the top, Laguna Cerro Castillo, a vivid alpine lake resting beneath towers of rock and snow. There are no crowds, no lodges, just wind, ice, and the slow passage of clouds across stone. Cerro Castillo isn't just a peak. It's a citadel of wilderness, held together by silence and storm. Spanning over 1 million acres of fjords, forests, and volcanoes in northern Patagonia, Pumalín Douglas Tompkins National Park is one of the most biodiverse and least disturbed places in Chile. Once threatened by logging, it was saved and restored by Douglas Tompkins, co-founder of the North Face, and is now part of one of the largest private land donations in conservation history. Here, Valdivian temperate rainforest drips with green, ferns the size of humans, trees over 3,000 years old, and rivers that run unbothered. Towering above it all is Volcan Chaiten, which erupted unexpectedly in 2008, proving that even protected lands are never still. Boardwalk trails weave through forests hung with moss and fog. Waterfalls tumble for hundreds of feet, and the silence is broken only by birdsong, rain, and the breath of the forest itself. Pumalín isn't just a park. It's a living answer to what can happen when humans decide to protect rather than exploit. A place where the earth gets a second chance and takes it. Tucked deep within Queulat National Park, in Chile's Isen region, is a site that seems impossible. Ventisquero Colgante, the hanging glacier. Spilling off a cliff like frozen thunder, suspended above a lush green rainforest. From a distance, it looks like a waterfall frozen mid-fall. But as you draw closer, through moss-covered trees and fern-lined trails, you see water cascading out from beneath the glacier, falling hundreds of meters into the valley below. It's a living paradox, a river of ice flowing above a rainforest floor. Formed by ancient ice fields, this glacier is retreating, but still immense, still wild. The roar of its meltwater echoes through the trees, carried on mist that weaves between sunlight and shadow. Queulat is where glacier meets jungle, and the atmosphere is thick with contrast. Cold and lush, violent and serene, ancient and urgent. South of Tierra del Fuego, beyond the last ferry and beneath the final stars of the Southern Cross, lies Isla Navarino, Chile's southernmost permanently inhabited island, and the last breath of civilization before Cape Horn and Antarctica. At its heart are the Dientes de Navarino, the teeth of Navarino, a jagged mountain range so remote, so primal, that even seasoned trekkers call it the world's southernmost hiking circuit. Here, wind shapes clouds like brushstrokes, and the landscape alternates between ancient peat bogs, glacial lakes, and granite fangs rising into storm-colored sky. The only settlement, Puerto Williams, is quieter than memory. Indigenous Yagan culture still lingers in stories and skin. And the silence? It's absolute. At night, the stars feel closer than the nearest continent. Isla Navarino is not a tourist destination. It's a threshold, a final chapter in the story of land. And a reminder that even at the edge of the world, there is still wildness left to discover. Chile doesn't unfold. It rises, it breaks, it disappears. It's a country not defined by its cities, but by the vast, unseen spaces between them. The canyon behind the volcano, the forest beyond the fjord, the light that lives inside stone. Here, desert breathes steam. Mountains hold lakes like secrets. Ghost towns echo with rusted ambition. And in the south, glaciers fall toward a silence deeper than the sea. Even the stars find clearer voice above this land. To walk through Chile is to trace a vertical story, one told in ice, fire, wind, and stone. And if you've only seen the postcards, then you haven't truly seen Chile at all. If this journey revealed a version of Chile you never imagined, subscribe to Era Trails to keep following the hidden edges of the world. And share this with someone who believes they've seen South America, because somewhere out there, Chile is still carving itself into the earth.